Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas. Thanks for joining us here at the Beyond Emissions podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell in the corner as well so that you can continue to be a part of our ongoing conversation about how we're going to create a world that is beyond emissions. Great show for you today, folks. I'm excited. Josh Brumm here, your host. We have an amazing couple of guests, a few guests on the program today. Coming up later, Brian and Michelle from SolarEdge are joining us right here at Beyond Emissions to talk about NEM3 in California. That's big. Storage is going to be a big part of the solution to NEM3 in California, paired with solar, plus other advantages of storage. And SolarEdge is going to be able to provide some great solutions for you as a part of what we offer overall here at Soligent. Our mission here, though, is all about creating an emissions-free future beyond emissions. And we do that by empowering our customers with the right materials for their solar or renewable energy or energy storage project to accomplish that. That's how we're doing it, and you're helping us. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Welcome to Beyond Emissions. Our first guest today is someone who's a veteran in the renewable energy, solar plus energy storage business. I have looked up to him since I came on board here at Soligent as somebody who's just always doing a great job for his customers, always stepping up for his teammates, and he's got the right mission in his heart as well of creating this emissions-free future by what we're doing every day together, you, I, us, and Bill here at Soligent. Bill Graves, welcome. Bill Graves from Soligent, welcome to the Beyond Emissions podcast.
Well, thanks for the introduction, Josh. I do appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a wonderful experience learning about the solar business over the years and how energy storage integrates with photovoltaics. So I'm very excited to kind of share whatever knowledge and learn from others as well.
That's awesome. We're so glad to have you here. Bill Graves with us from Soligent at the Beyond Emissions podcast. And I ask you, the audience, this every single week. And Bill, I'm going to ask you as well the question, what does Beyond Emissions mean to you?
Well, I've been thinking about that, and I've actually looked it up and, Wikipedia and all that kind of thing. And to me, Beyond Emissions is more than beyond emissions. It is a critical turning point in the infrastructure of the world. And that infrastructure has been based on different types of energy. And now we're at this kind of point where you look around and say, it's changing. And it's changing in such a way that it's kind of subtle, but very dramatic at the same time. And so we're holding on to the past way of producing energy, and we're kind of toe dipping, almost trying to make that leap into a different type of energy, a different type of making it and storing it and utilizing it. And so for me, that is the beyond emission concept, is really a concept of, are we going to be able to make that transition quickly? Because I think it's critical that we do, for several different reasons that I can share if you're interested. But yeah, I think
definitely.
That's really it.
Yes.
Well, I think emissions and energy and storage and all those kind of things, there's several things going on. One of it is money, right? How much does this all cost? What does it cost to produce energy? What does it cost to consume it? What does it cost to transmit it? Et cetera. And the other part of it is decentralized energy production. And to me, decentralized energy production is not being reliant on the grid. I live in the Gulf Coast in Houston, Texas, so we get hurricanes every now and then. And so we just had the freeze-ageddon last year, and we had another freeze this year. And our energy provider, the one that buys all the energy for the state of Texas, was sending out almost daily reports that we're going to have enough energy for the energy spikes. We're going to be able to take care of everybody, and you're not going to lose your power like you did last year for a week, which caused tremendous problems. So do I continue to rely on others, or do I do something about that? And how do I do that? Well, you do that through research. You do that through alternative energy sources and storage. And that's kind of how I look at the beyond emissions concept, is that we're changing from dependence to independence. And I really feel strongly that independent energy production that we can all do, sitting where we stand right now, is really kind of exciting. What do you think, Josh?
I think so. I think independence is what this country is all about. There was a time where you had colonists in the United States looking and saying, how can we live without the crown? How can we live without the British Empire protecting us? And here we are, 250 plus years later or more, where this experiment called America, rooted in freedom and independence, is moving forward. And not politically speaking, we're talking, environment, we're talking economics, but independence and freedom nonetheless. Decentralized energy production. And I agree with you. Bill Graves with us from Soligent here at the Beyond Emissions podcast. I agree with you, Bill. It's all about freedom, right?
Yeah, it is. And so, but freedom also is a scary thing, right? When you're growing up and you're going to go out to college or a trade or whatever, when you're kind of scared of that independence. How is that going to happen? Am I going to make it? Is there, where's my safety blanket? What if I fail? What if this energy thing fails? One of the things that I can recall from my early days in the solar business is I always thought if we had a battery about the size of a refrigerator that would produce energy for about a week, it would be game over. And when I first started, and I mentioned earlier, I'm in the Gulf Coast, and I've been in solar for a little over 10 years, maybe more. I'm not sure. I have to look at my resume. I don't even know if I have one anymore. But people would ask me, well, should I buy batteries? And I'd tell them no. Batteries are lead acid. You got to water them like roses. They only they're only warranted for a year. Just save the 10, 15 grand you'd put in the batteries, go to Vegas, have a vacation, have a nice time, and then come back when the energy crisis is over. The hurricane would have passed, the power lines are back up, you're good to go. But that has completely changed. We don't have lead acid anymore. Well, we do. It's still there. It's good for golf carts and different things. But now we have the new lithium ion technology, and there's different, chemistries to that. And I'm sure any, battery person can tell you about that, or you can call Soligent and ask them about, what are the chemistries. We'll help you out. But the whole concept of that is now we have something that's about the size of a refrigerator that can supply you for a week, and it's warranted for multiple years, and you don't have to maintain it. You don't have to buy the watering kit. I remember we had watering kits that you would hook up to each one of the batteries, and you had to make sure that watering kit had water in it, or your battery would fail because it had to have water.
Right.
And some of the guys on this podcast probably know, that you had to pop the top off your car battery and just make sure you had enough, water in those things so it would hold the charge. So it's completely changed, Josh. It's very exciting in that regard.
Right. We don't have to equalize our lithium ion batteries like we did our wet flooded lead acid. We don't have to oversize our PV array by double just to account for all the inefficiencies of lead acid and all the other, integration included because of the efficiency that exists now. It's amazing, isn't it? You talk about, the past and the best thing about talking about the past is it gives us a guidepost to the future. And, are we going to do it quickly, to your question, Bill? I don't know how quickly it's going to happen. But I think that we really have no choice. Carbon based fossil fuel based economies around the world are dependent upon us in the free world. Let's just focus on that. Us here in the free world. Ever since Nixon got us off the gold standard in the 70s, it's been our deal with the Saudis and other countries, namely the Sauds, that all oil transactions for the whole entire world, the energy that the world depends on, is mandated to be done in dollars. That has helped prop up our reserve currency status and helped keep us the leaders of the free world. I mean, could you imagine, another country, a communist country that's anti-freedom, maybe, running the economy of the world? I wouldn't want to imagine that. I grew up in America. My grandparents both were in World War II, and that's the world that we inherited from them, this free world. And looking at what's happening now in Saudi Arabia with President Xi from China and other actors going over and talking to them about taking the yuan instead of just, only the dollar for oil. So it's not only for the environment, of course, I mean, that's paramount as well as, right? We care about the environment. It's huge. But this is something that this is an issue I think we can inject into the conversation, that getting off of a fossil fuel based economy and creating, unlimited renewable energy sources that we can power our economy and our lives on, regardless of what spectrum a person might come from. This is something that we can all kind of agree on, that, we need to get out of that stranglehold, or we could become victims of this fossil fuel based economy, right?
So nobody wants to be, a victim or feel oppressed. And I think we have this unique opportunity to be leaders. And regardless of negotiations that happen, all these things on this global economy, you just can't suppress freedom in America. And I'm a believer in that. I know there's a lot going on politically with the concept of free thought. However, I think as a society and as people, that we're always going to be seeking education and thought. And if we can continue that effort, that teaching, that passing of the baton, that we don't have much to worry about. We need to be 100 miles ahead of everybody else. And I think we are that. I think we're going to do that. And it's an ultimate compliment that people want to copy us, that people want to take our intellectual property, and they're willing to spy and do whatever they possibly can to grab it because they're not able to produce it themselves. So I'm kind of like, okay, so you got a few on us. Big deal. We're still going to be ahead because we still believe in the individualism of man. And that's what's really cool. So back to energy emissions and that concept of how it's changing, that's what I see in younger people and in our society is we're willing to embrace that. It is scary, but I think we're moving in the right direction as a society with the concept of, there's a different way. And, you can look back at it in an internal combustion engine. The guys that were making the buggy whips, they're like, that's not going to work. We don't want that to happen. We make buggy whips. We don't want the internal combustion engine because that's going to replace the horse. When you replace the horse, that's going to replace the stable. That's going to replace the guy that maintains the stable. That's going to replace the guy that provides food for the horses. So there was that kind of transition at that point in time. That's the same transition we're in right now. We're holding on to the buggy whip when we should be thinking about George Jetson in the car that drives itself and you just fold it up in a suitcase and go to work.
I could imagine, right? The world of tomorrow. We dreamed about it since the Jetsons, but we're really there, and we need to let go of the buggy whip. We need to look toward progress. We're not we're not demonizing oil or the technology that got us to this point. But like Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. And we have knowledge now about renewable energy systems. Are we going to do away with oil forever? No. Are we going to, I saw something the other day about everything that gets, processed or made by or through or from oil, including plastics, et cetera, right? We're not going to get rid of oil altogether. But as an energy source, we can find other forms of energy that are cleaner, like solar, like wind. But there's so much more. There's so many new technologies. I just saw the other day that Caltech is putting on a display of technological genius with space-based solar. Rand Corporation studied that back in the 60s and 70s, and it was not really feasible at the time or economically feasible. But space-based solar, the ability to produce unlimited energy beamed down to the earth 24/7, feeding our grid and Tesla's dream of wireless energy transfer. Wow. Like all of this is actually happening. It's maybe not happening right at this exact second, but it's all happening. And having the decentralized energy production as well, microgrids, energy storage here at the ground level, and then you pair our efforts as individual citizens with the efforts of some of these technological advancements. And it is realistic for this new unlimited clean energy source that comes from the sun and so many other technological advancements. It is realistic for this to be the next step, right, Bill?
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's maybe I need to clarify. There is no reason, and it's not going to happen in my lifetime, that we're going to get rid of oil and diesel and the production of that. You have to have it now. And there's just too much infrastructure that revolves around it. However, you can mitigate the production of that by energy independence. And there is no reason why you wouldn't. And the difference now is it's affordable. Before, when I started, you would sell a solar module at, I don't know, $1 a watt, $1.10 a watt.
Right.
Now you can get them 40, 50, 60 cents. So 50% reduction in cost is a lot. And the same thing with the batteries. There's been a big reduction in cost and a huge upside in efficiency and warranty. And why wouldn't you do it? I mean, no one's saying you got to get rid of your F-250 diesel because you got to haul 25,000 pounds of, you got 10 cars on a trailer right now. I mean, that's not the point, really. The point really is that how do we be more educated and more efficient and smart the way we do things? And they did that back in, I don't know, pre-1900s, before we had air conditioning. We made our roof ceilings 10 feet tall. Why do we make our ceilings 10 feet tall? Because hot air rises. And we could open up the windows and have a cross breeze and make our ceilings taller to air condition our homes. And when I say air conditioning, there was natural convection of heat and breeze. So the concept of how you use energy and how you cool and transmit and convect and all that, it's all there. And we just need to kind of say, okay, we don't have to take a sledgehammer to everything because we have unlimited resources. We take a concept of how do I do this the best way? And what is my best option? And how is that going to impact what's around me? And I think that's, beyond emissions is, how do you view your world? And how do you want your world to be? I don't know, Josh. I'm getting kind of philosophical there on you.
No, I actually, Bill Graves with us from Soligent. at the Beyond Emissions podcast. Holy smokes. I'm enjoying this conversation. I love going deep like this, Bill. We do have to, coming up on a hard break, we do have Brian and as well Michelle coming up from, so happy to have him from SolarEdge talking about NEM3 in just a moment after the break. So we're going to have to let you go now, but you have to promise, because I mean, we have so much more to discuss. You're going to have to promise to come back on the show, Bill. Yeah, we want you back to continue this conversation. It's, we just barely got started. And before you know it, I'm like, wow, where'd the time go? The old saying, Bill Graves, when time flies when you're having fun. That's exactly what's going on here. Appreciate you so much, Bill. Bill, Beyond Emissions, it's in our heart. Listeners, it's in your heart as well. You can get solutions from Soligent, and I call him an expert, in my opinion, just by experience alone, and I have so much to learn from him, and we'll have Bill Graves from Soligent back on the program. Bill, if our listeners want to reach out and learn more, but also as well, take advantage of the awesome service and solutions, materials, solar, energy storage, racking, monitoring, you name it. We have so many, items of great value in stock and available, as well as quickly able to ship with our partners from around the world. Tell our listeners a little bit about what they can get from Soligent and how they can reach out to you, Bill Graves, to take advantage of these solutions from us.
Absolutely. We're decentralized in our sales organization as well. So we have representatives and management coast to coast. I'm based in Houston, Texas. My email is bill.graves@soligent.net, N-E-T. So if you're in the central region of the United States, absolutely, I can help you with that. We have other people that operate in different parts of the country, and I'd be happy to facilitate communication with them. All of our team literally goes through hundreds of hours a year of training on all of the components that we offer, everything related to PV and energy storage, and also electric vehicles. So if that's something you're interested in, please reach out to us. Soligent, .net is our, web address. So yeah, just go there and just call and ask. We'll help you out. We're looking forward to it.
Excellent. Bill Graves, you'll be back on the show. I'm going to make sure of it. Our listeners and I enjoyed the living daylights out of having you here today. Bill, hang on the line for our engineers, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Welcome, Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. Bill Graves joining us there from Texas, expert guest, and also a representative here at Soligent that you can reach out to for assistance. He's a mentor of us all here at Soligent and a wonderful rep to work with, amazing service and amazing knowledge as well, with a heart that's the same as ours, Beyond Emissions. It's the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with GivePower. But we wouldn't be here today talking to you about GivePower if it wasn't for our partners, LoanPal. They've been with GivePower since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by LoanPal's dedication to the cause. Something LoanPal said really strikes a chord regarding GivePower, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound LoanPal's contribution by donating to GivePower on every order paid via our direct pay program through LoanPal. That's right. Every time your company uses your LoanPal portal to pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot more.
Soligent's purpose meets GivePower's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more. Welcome back. Beyond Emissions Podcast by Soligent at the Soligent YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us here. Like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell in the corner so you can be a part of the ongoing conversation about what it's going to take to create a world that's beyond emissions. Bill Graves, our first guest from Soligent today. What an amazing person he is. A talent. Full of knowledge, experience in the solar and renewable energy business. And we talked a lot about the philosophical, reasons behind beyond emissions, the environment, resources, energy independence, freedom, some certain geopolitical realities that are forcing us to get off of this fossil fuel-based economy. So many new technological advances that have come upon us here in this day and age. I remember when I was a kid watching a show on the Discovery Channel. I don't know if you remember it or not, called Beyond 2000. And I was like, wow. I was talking to my wife when we created the name for this show, Beyond Emissions. And I told my wife, she asked me, what do you want for the title? And I said, well, I want a program that's going to speak to, not necessarily where we're at now or where we're going to be in 5 years, but where we might be in 100 years, like a big goal, like this vision of this goal that we want to get to. And I was reminded of the program Beyond 2000. And here we are, 2023 now. Wow, I can't believe it. And we're way beyond 2000. And so looking at it from that same vantage point, that's how Beyond Emissions was born. We have a vision of creating this emissions-free future, and it means something different for us all. Back on the program today, Brian Arons and also special guest Michelle Spina joining us today. She's our sales education manager from SolarEdge. So Soligent partnered with SolarEdge. So many different solutions available through Soligent, and SolarEdge being a big solution for so many different issues, stopping issues that plague us every single day, like these coming rate increases from the utility, or energy independence, or how about the ability to charge your electrical vehicle from the sun, right? So many different technological advances that are happening right now, and all helping us together and working to create this world that is beyond emissions. And so we're excited to have Michelle Spina and Brian Arons with us today from SolarEdge. You guys are superstars, and thanks for being partners with Soligent. Welcome to the Beyond Emissions podcast, Brian and Michelle.
Thanks
Josh,
for
thanks for having us.
Hey, my pleasure. Hey, you guys sang from the same hymnal there. You almost did that with harmony. I loved it. Brian and Michelle, you guys have been working with our team here at Soligent, and you believe in this mission as well. I know your company believes in it. You're rooted in Israel. And so being independent and being all about freedom, we're free from the shackles or the chains of this fossil fuel economy if we really head in the right direction. And I think we're doing that every single day, empowering our customers to get into this world that is beyond emissions, that is truly energy independence. And SolarEdge, I know you believe in that as well. I'm so excited to work with you in helping our customers and getting educated. I'm glad you're here today. Some of the topics that we want to discuss. Well, before we get there, let me ask you both. Take turns, ladies first. Michelle, what does beyond emissions mean to you?
Well, I mean, I think you brought up a really great point in the beginning that this is an age where we can actually get beyond emissions. I've been in solar for 13 years now, and I wasn't confident in the beginning that there was a feasible solution to actually get fully beyond emissions. But as you mentioned, you can now charge your car with the sun. We have an opportunity to have battery solutions on houses now, so you can become your own power plant. And we're coming out with new load controllers where you're actually going to be able to manage your heavy devices straight from an app. These are all things that have come up in the last, 2, 3, maybe 5 years, and it's becoming attainable now. So to me, it's, a feasible solution. It's a realistic world to be beyond emissions.
Yeah, we want to set goals, but we want to set realistic goals, not pie in the sky. And the technology that exists, especially with partners like SolarEdge with Soligent. By the way, get your SolarEdge solution from us today at Soligent. Click the link below in the description. Be a part of our team in helping to create this world that is beyond emissions. It exists right now. And your technology at SolarEdge is just, getting better every year. It's so amazing, the innovation going on. Have you guys got kind of like a skunk works or something there at SolarEdge? The stuff that you're putting out is so space age, man. My friend Brooke Hanner, Brian, you can speak to this. Brooke was on the last broadcast that you were on, and he's actually charging his Tesla from a SolarEdge EV charging solution in his off-grid system. He had to do some engineering to make that work, but it's a SolarEdge EV charging solution. He's driving on the sun because of SolarEdge or from solar power. I mean, wow, that's so amazing, right?
That's awesome to hear. And Josh, you're not going to believe this. Brian just texted me and said he had a power outage right in the middle of this. So he's not beyond emissions yet, I don't think. He's still utilizing the dirty power, but I can definitely pick up where he left off, and he'll probably be back on. He just lost internet coincidentally because his power just went out. So he's at the mercy of the utility company in Northern California.
Yeah. And when the grid goes down, Brian, we'll welcome you back with open arms when you come back. Brian Arons from SolarEdge, Michelle Spina here, Sales Education Manager from SolarEdge. So glad to have you guys on today. And Brian, he'll be back once that power comes back. But that's what a perfect segue. Energy storage is a solution available now by Soligent, through Soligent by SolarEdge. We're kind of two sides of the same coin when it comes to this. SolarEdge produces the solution. You can get it at Soligent, soligent.net. Go there today, become a dealer, click on the link below so you can offer these solutions to your customers from SolarEdge. SolarEdge batteries offer so many different advantages to customers, including the situation that we just talked about right now, power outages. That's a big deal, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Power outages. And, as you mentioned in the beginning, NEM 3.0 is going to make it even more reasonable. And you have to, at this point, get a battery after NEM 3.0 comes into play. So, we're really confident that our solution provides, more power, 30% more power. So you can put more devices on that battery. And it's 6% more efficient than the AC coupled solutions out there. So we're helping homeowners, not just in California, but all over the world with our DC coupled solution.
Beyond Emissions podcast, Michelle Spina with us, Sales Education Manager from Soligent, and Brian Arons. He's having a power outage actually at this moment. I mean, it's actually so appropriate for the conversation, right?
Yeah.
I no offense. I mean, Brian, we did not want this to happen, but at the same time, it's so applicable to our conversation. Having that peace of mind of knowing that when the grid goes down, your internet can stay on, your fridge can stay on. But at one time, that independence of having that peace of mind of having power when the grid goes down, battery backup, that for so long under NEM3, and we're speaking to customers right now in California, Soligent, Beyond Emissions podcast, Michelle Spina with us from SolarEdge. We're speaking to you, especially in California, NEM2, you got that retail rate back. It might be 20 to 30 cents per kilowatt hour for what you sold based on what your PV produced in excess throughout the day, right back to the utility. And so you're able to use that credit, and it's kind of even Steven. Now, under NEM3, though, that's not the case. So during NEM2, a power outage and having, power when the grid goes down, battery backup, was really the number one sales advantage, if you will, or buying advantage, if you will, for both sides of that coin, customer and the person selling it. Really, power outages and having that energy security of battery backup, that was the number one selling point. Now it's almost like under NEM3, that becomes kind of the icing on the cake or a cherry on top. And energy storage takes a whole new role in California under NEM3. Talk a little bit about that, Michelle.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, this is unprecedented. We didn't think this was going to happen, but it is. We're kind of taking it as an opportunity. So, like Josh said, in NEM2, you were getting the retail rate of electricity back. So if you had excess power, you would send it to the grid. You would get that retail rate of electricity back in credits. In NEM 3.0, any excess energy that you're sending back to the grid, you're actually getting 75% less than you are being charged by the utility company. So in NEM 3, it's about 5 cents a kilowatt hour on average that you would be getting back from that utility company, and they're charging you, depending on your utility, 35 to 65 cents a kilowatt hour. So you're not getting that value to send it back to the grid anymore. So with the battery, you're becoming your own power plant. You're storing that energy instead. You're storing it, and then you're utilizing it at night. So you're not, all about that freedom and independence that you mentioned. You're not having to rely on the utility company anymore because you are producing your own energy and you're using that at night instead of pulling back from the grid.
Yeah, I mean, the utility company, definitely a monopoly, and there's no doubt that they're doing things in their favor for their shareholders. And we're not out to demonize the utility because we need a utility, but why not make you the utility? Why not make me the utility? We the people? If that's not a foreign concept to us here in America, especially in California. The idea of energy storage allows us to be our own power plants, basically, right? And under NEM,
exactly right.
Well, under NEM3, forget NEM3, even under NEM2, they kind of finagled with the numbers a little bit with the shell game on the numbers where, yeah, we'll give you back your retail rate during the day of what you produce. And then we'll give you that retail cost at, value at night for what you're going to use. But even then they finagled with it because they jacked up the rates at night from 5 to 9 p.m. to be more than that value. So energy storage under NEM2 even still makes sense for those who can get in under the April 13th deadline. That's the deadline, right? Talk a little bit about the importance, maybe a little bit more about that, about the importance, whether you're getting in under the NEM2 deal or you're under NEM3. Either way, having that energy at night from 5 to 9 p.m. is going to be a lifesaver for folks, right?
Yes, exactly. People are doing it right now. I mean, that's why California is the largest battery market in the country right now, because of taking advantage of what we call time of use arbitrage. So in those hours of 4 to 9 p.m., you're paying a premium, and you can utilize your battery right now, even in time of use. I mean, NEM 2.0, you can utilize that battery energy to power your house so that you're not paying that retail rate of electricity. I'm glad you brought up that deadline. So NEM 2.0, in order to be eligible and qualify for that, the deadline is to submit interconnection by April 13th. So there is still time to get in, but there's still a huge benefit to add a battery to your system today so that you're immune to changes to NEM in the future. And again, you don't have to rely on the utility company. You're becoming your own power plant.
Yeah, the amount that you're going to get charged at night, arbitrage is so important. So even if You're not waiting until after April 13th and being under the new NEM3 rules, even if you slip in and get on NEM2 before it's too late. And by the way, before it's too late, contact us here at Soligent. We can help you get the product you need. We can help you get the panels you need, the SolarEdge inverter systems, the EV charging stations, the energy hub, everything that you need, the integration, the energy storage by SolarEdge, etc. We can get you that. It is available today. So you don't have to be wondering, how am I going to get my customer these solutions before April 13th, before it's too late. And it's all about the interconnect agreement that needs to be done, along with some other factors. I was listening in on something today from CALSA, Storage and Solar Association here in California. That's where I'm from, folks, California. And NEM3, it is a reality. But if you can get in under NEM2, that doesn't mean you just say, "I'll forget a battery." Now, you can add a battery later. It's still possible, and it won't affect your NEM2 status. But it's right. Make the investment now. Think about it. The 30% federal tax credit, it's applicable to your energy storage. So when you factor all that in, and the arbitrage from that standpoint benefit of being, we're talking a big difference between what you're getting paid back under NEM2 if you slip in before it's too late. There's a big difference on what they're going to charge you at nighttime versus that daytime value that you're retrieving when you're under the NEM2 rules. We're not joking. It means the battery has value now, not just later. And forgive me for rehashing that, but I think the news out there is making it all about, don't worry, you don't need a battery under NEM2. Wait a second. Actually, you kind of do, right? Just ask Brian right now. But I mean, seriously, you need a battery. SolarEdge, your batteries, they have advantages. They're more energy dense. So many other advantages. Unlimited cycles, not affecting the warranty. Right. Talk a little bit about that and how that affects folks under NEM2 and how that can affect folks who take advantage of your solutions through Soligent under NEM3.
Yeah, I mean, I think that those are the two primary advantages, in my opinion, is the efficiency, 6% higher efficiency, which for a homeowner, if you're cycling every day, which in time of use, you really do need to, because you want to use your battery every day to power your house at night. That equates to about 10 extra days of free power every year, just because of a higher efficiency product. And then you mentioned that unlimited cycle. So within the warranty, you'll hear a lot in the industry, a battery warranty, 10-year, 70% capacity retention. So we guarantee 70% capacity after that 10 years. The difference is that unlimited cycle. So a lot of our competition has a cycle limitation where you only have a certain amount of limit of cycles you can actually charge and discharge within that warranty. We don't count that. We say it's an unlimited cycle amount and you won't be at risk of warranty however many times you charge and discharge. Hawaii is already in this situation where they don't have export. And a lot of Hawaii customers are using our product specifically for that because they need to charge and discharge on a daily basis. That's what's happening in California now after NEM 3.0. So this is something that's really important. And as you mentioned, important now in NEM 2.0 to take advantage of the arbitrage. And then also, there are still several incentives available in California. So SGIP is still open. They actually just put more funding towards that, luckily, we heard. And there is also a CPA incentive for demand response. It's a $400 gift card just right out of the gates if you go with a battery in SoCal Edison territory. So we have, incentives available in California, too, that offsets the cost a bit, and that ITC that's going to be at 30%. So right now is really the best time.
Yeah, and you mentioned SGIP. Go to cpuc.gov or .ca.gov. Go to the CPUC website, look up SGIP, And there's a link there to click on to find SGIP installers. I say that self-generation incentive program, you just mentioned it. Michelle Spina from SolarEdge, Sales Education Manager, here with us today discussing NEM3, also NEM2 as well, how to get in on it. Join us here at Soligent. Click on the link below so you can take advantage of getting in, get your customers in on NEM2 as soon as possible. We'll be discussing MPU avoidance on storage, EV charging projects, AC coupled versus DC coupled in a moment. Just talked about arbitrage, the ability to actually take your energy during the daytime and use that at night so that you get a better value out of it versus even what NEM2 can offer right now. Lots of great advantages to the SolarEdge solutions available here at Soligent. SGIP, Self-Generation Incentive Program. You're right, Michelle. Just added, I think, nearly $1 billion to the fund. Yeah. But the reason why, yeah, exactly, that's a lot of money. And now the reason why I mentioned the link for folks to go to the CPUC website and look up for an SGIP installer is because not all installers know how to navigate SGIP and get that money. So, you know, that can be an issue, right? Finding someone who knows how to navigate that is very important, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I will say SGIP has been a little bit more of a challenge to register and enroll in. But again, there are other incentives like that Edison one that's very simple for homeowners to register for. But if you qualify for SGIP, it is a phenomenal program. So great advice on looking up those installers that can do it. And, Josh, it looks like we might have Brian back. Brian, are you there?
I'm here. I can't believe I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, we've been talking badly about you this whole time because your power's out. So
it was a perfect segue.
Yeah, what timing for a power outage that would remove me from a podcast talking about energy storage and mitigating the effects of a power outage.
How appropriate!
So, a real
right?
coincidence.
How appropriate!
Yeah, that's some crazy timing.
Yeah, Beyond Emissions podcast. Josh Brumm here with Soligent. Joining us for our Beyond Emissions podcast, Michelle Spina, Sales Education Manager, and my personal representative, Distribution Sales Manager, Brian Arons from SolarEdge. And we talked about NEM2, about NEM3. We got into under NEM2, Brian. Michelle had some great points regarding utilizing SolarEdge's energy storage technology through Soligent, folks. By the way, click the link below so you can participate and get your customers in under NEM2, utilizing SolarEdge's home battery for arbitrage. To be able to get a better value versus that credit that they get from selling it back to the utility at night, because the utility's playing games. Under NEM2, they were playing games, and now under NEM3, and it's all about energy independence. And SolarEdge technology through Soligent allows for the customer to take control of their energy and be independent. And that's what we were covering while you were gone. But you would agree with that, right, Brian?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I wish that I was actively taking part in having a battery and arbitrage, and of course using the battery backup power right now while Livermore, where I'm broadcasting from, doesn't have any utility power.
Yep.
I'm glad that we have real-time proof that there's outages in California on a regular basis.
Yeah.
This is real-time proof.
We could not have made this up. This is something that happened for real just now. And I mean, I wouldn't have even been brilliant enough, Brian and Michelle, to have thought of acting this out, to be honest with you. So I think God himself is putting his hand on us right now to help our customers take advantage of this awesome technology through SolarEdge. It's amazing.
If I could only think of a distributor that had the SolarEdge home battery in stock, present
fully
day,
available
right now, that I could just,
ready to go.
Will call not only the optimizers, but the inverter, everything I need, the battery also. Oh, hold on. There is one I could think of. Soligent. They have a local warehouse here in Northern California.
That's right. Preach it, brother. Amen. Hallelujah. That's what I'm talking about, Brian. Yeah. Yeah. He's right. He's right. We've got it in stock. We've got SolarEdge energy storage solutions available in stock right now at our warehouse in California. We can take care of you. It's the link below. Click on that. We'll get you in touch with a Soligent specialist that can connect you with the SolarEdge solutions that you need so that you can take advantage of SolarEdge energy storage, not just for arbitrage, not just for offsetting the cost of your utility and utilizing it yourself and having energy independence, but also for what Brian just went through. Brian Arons from SolarEdge right here on the call. When your power goes down, SolarEdge batteries are ready to help and save the day. That's what I'm talking about. Now, one of the things we wanted to mention too, real quick, Michelle, you talked about a moment ago about and agreed with me on the fact that folks still have a chance to get in under NEM3. I mean, the door has not totally closed yet. It's April 13th. I found the information. Requirements are that you have a complete interconnect application completed by 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, California time, April 13th. The three requirements that I see are a single line diagram, California CSLB Solar Energy System Disclosure Doc, and a signed California, California Consumer Protection agreement signed.
Document.
Okay, so those are the three things. 5 p.m. April 13th. All of that has to be written in stone by that time. So time is of the essence, right?
Yeah, and big recommendation, let's not wait until 5 p.m. on April 13th, just because, let's not procrastinate this one. There's going to be, I'm going to kind of call the next 2 or 3 months, the solar gold rush in California. People are going to be clamoring to get solar before the deadline. One recommendation I'll give to salespeople and business owners, installers, triple and double check that the name on the contract matches the name on the interconnection agreement, matches the name on the utility bill, because that will get you in hot water if that doesn't match before that deadline hits. So when you're submitting, make sure those things all match.
Is it true that applies as well to things like the panels that you might have on your interconnect agreement, and then suddenly out of nowhere you put 405s, and the next thing you know that's not available, so we have another brand and it's 400. Boom, NEM3, right? Not qualifying. Is that correct? In other words, what you have on that agreement has to be totally accurate per what is going to be installed, right? It's got to all line up.
Yeah, so that's going to be best practice. From what we're seeing, it seems as if as long as you're not changing the AC nameplate rating of the inverter, you may be able to qualify for an extension on that if there's a change order that happens, just like the example you mentioned. But definitely, hey, I don't like to put my fate in the hands of the utility company, frankly. So definitely better safe than sorry on making sure everything matches and everything is. You know what that makes proper.
Me think of? You guys, Brian Arons and Michelle Spina with us today from SolarEdge, guests on the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell in the corner, be a part of our ongoing conversation, and click the link below so that you can take advantage of our SolarEdge solutions we have in stock right now. It makes me think of when we were kids, right? And we had a paper or something due, a project due on, Monday. And then, we have a whole month to work on it, and boom, the Sunday before the Monday, we're just burning midnight oil trying to put together a project because we did not do it the whole month. Everybody's got the canaries already in the coal mine, right? We've got plenty of warning here. There is no excuse. People need to buy their materials right now, right?
Yes, and I agree with you. We need to change the dynamic from when we were in school. Let's not procrastinate on this one.
Yeah. Folks, you've got great advice here. And we've got experts, Brian Arons and Michelle Spina from SolarEdge. We talked about NEM3. We talked about NEM2. We talked about the ability to use the SolarEdge home battery for arbitrage, lowering labor and equipment cost, backup, etc. What a perfect example of needing SolarEdge battery backup right now. No other way to show it than actually having it happen on our podcast. Love you, Brian. That's awesome. I know you didn't even mean to do that. I think God himself is involved. But we haven't really gotten into MPU avoidance on storage, EV charging projects, AC coupled versus DC coupled. MPU, main panel upgrades, that can be very expensive. And SolarEdge through Soligent offers some great solutions with your technology. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Brian, do you want to take that since I've been talking, or would you like me to take it?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. I'm not sure about the audio quality. I can't use my headphones since I'm just operating from the battery on my laptop and using the Wi-Fi from my cell phone at the moment. But right, I want to make sure that our audience clearly understands that we have a really unique DC optimized system here at SolarEdge, and what you can do is put up to 3 batteries, an EV charger, and your entire PV system. They can all share a single breaker. So not only are you realizing the higher efficiency by going through less conversions that you see just having a DC optimized system when compared to an AC system, but then also you have a lot of cost savings on the install side. It could be it's definitely multiple thousands of dollars to do a main panel upgrade, and a lot of people that want multiple batteries, they need a breaker for each battery. They need a separate breaker for the PV system with our competitors. They need an additional breaker for the EV charger with our competitors, and they have to use all kinds of different apps. Might be a different app for the battery, a different app for the inverter, and a third app on their phone for the EV charger. With SolarEdge, we have a single app. You get all the products from a single company. We have our own battery cell manufacturing company in South Korea. And we can offer that savings here, where you have up to 3 batteries, your entire PV system, and an EV charger all sharing a single breaker.
Now, how does that work for the EV charging? Are they taking some of the energy from the battery? I'm assuming that there may be a need from time to time to take some energy from the grid for what might not be available, or how does that balance all out for the customer?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked. Our EV charger, it's very flexible in install. You can plug it in. You could plug it in. You could use the SolarEdge EV charger without PV and without a battery if you wanted to. Comes with a plug, but you can also, and in the vast majority of installations, you're probably going to find people powering their EV charger with their inverter, and that's what allows you to share a single breaker with your PV system, up to 3 batteries and an EV charger, is powering the EV charger through the inverter. So you can even charge quicker than a normal level 2 EV charger using what we call the solar boost mode. So during periods of production, if you're charging your EV, then you're going to realize a bonus level of EV charging through your EV charger. But you probably wouldn't use your batteries too often to charge your EV, because in most cases your electric vehicle is going to have a very large battery, probably larger than the battery you have in your house. So although you could use the power from your battery, but most likely you're going to be using power from the utility and power from PV.
But you can time that so that you're charging your batteries or your EV battery, your electrical vehicle battery, you can time it so you're charging it when the rates are cheaper, right? Like say in the overnight, if you happen to be working all day and at home. So that's a huge advantage, right there. In addition, there are some efficiency differences with the SolarEdge system overall that allow for more production from the PV array that can be available for battery charging as well. You mentioned that to me earlier today on a meeting, and it blew my mind. Talk a little bit about that, especially versus some of those other microinverters that are out there on the market. SolarEdge, you allow for a system that will produce more from the PV array and without the limitations that maybe some of your competitors have, right?
Exactly, yeah. So what we're avoiding here with our DC optimized system is what I've heard Michelle refer to as the triple penalty. The triple penalty is what AC coupled systems experience when you're making an immediate conversion from DC to AC on the roof. Then you're going through conversion again before you put power into the battery from AC and back to DC. The battery stores it in DC. Then when you want to use that power, you convert back from DC to AC, where so the home could use it. So each time you go through a conversion, you're losing some power. You're becoming less efficient, basically. With SolarEdge, of course, you can put power directly from the solar panels on your roof in DC into the battery in DC without going through the inverter, without going through a conversion, without losing power in a conversion. Also, you can avoid clipping by putting what would have been clipped energy directly into the battery. So with a lot of competitors that don't have this DC optimized solution, you're charging your battery with the power that your home would have used, or you could have fed back out onto the grid and the utility could have compensated you for. But with SolarEdge, you're charging with what would have been clipped in other systems, and then you still have plenty of power to the full capacity of the inverter to power your home or feed back out onto the grid.
And all these solutions are available, like Brian said, at Soligent, in stock, available right now. Michelle Spina, Brian Arons, thank you from Soligent for joining us today on the Beyond Emissions podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel. Appreciate the education. And obviously, we started off with the question, what does Beyond Emissions mean to you? And really it folds into the next question of how are we going to do it? And I think that's what we just talked about over the last 20, 30 minutes. How are we going to create the world that is beyond emissions? And I believe it's with partners like you at SolarEdge, with the technology that you're working to create and the innovation. Your company is amazing. Before we let you go, and by the way, we're going to have you back, folks, so stay tuned. We will have Brian, Michelle, and their team back from SolarEdge here at the Beyond Emissions podcast to continue this discussion and our ongoing education, because that's really the how. How are we going to do it? And it's amazing innovation going on at companies and partners of Soligent like SolarEdge. Before we let you go, would you guys mind, one of you, letting us know a little bit about SolarEdge, the history of SolarEdge? It's an Israeli company, and nobody knows more about rugged independence and needing to be able to produce energy. I mean, over in Israel, you're in a country there that is just got to be independent. They've got to make their own power. They've got to grow their own food. They've got to do so much. And we're all about freedom and independence here in the United States as well. Such a shared culture of freedom and independence. And I love Israel. And I'm so thankful to be working with a company like Soligent and also as well partnering with companies like you at SolarEdge. You're founded out of a company from Israel, correct? Talk a little bit about that for our listeners. Give them a quick little history about SolarEdge.
Yeah, definitely. Some fun facts. So we are based in Herzliya, Israel. We have production facilities in Israel as well, manufacturing facilities. But I think that what brought me to SolarEdge, and I've sold SolarEdge for over 10 years, is the innovation and controlling the entire process from beginning to end. So we have 10 R&D facilities globally. We're in 133 different countries, and we're considered the number one solar inverter company globally. But we are getting a lot more into smart energy management, as we've talked about through this whole podcast, but we're also the number one leader on the commercial side. So commercial rooftop systems is our bread and butter. We win on that side of things as well. We have ground mount opportunities also in products. So we're not just in the residential space. We're in commercial. We're in large scale. We're in virtual power plants. And so we have a presence in the entire energy sector on, going beyond emissions, as you say, is really our focus as well. One key fun fact I will mention is that we did open up a facility in Guadalajara, Mexico, that is going to be producing all of our products for North America this coming year. So that's very exciting. We're very close to home and can, drive it across the border. I know that supply has been a challenge in the last couple of years across the board. It is not a challenge for us because we have this new production facility that we're going to be able to supply North America with.
Yeah, it really takes us all. It takes us all working together, and innovation and companies and strategies, supply chains that are resilient, SolarEdge leading the way. We're partnered with you here at Soligent, and I am so thankful to get to work with experts like you, Michelle, and Brian from SolarEdge every single day, helping our customers, empowering our customers to create this world that is beyond emissions. Folks, if you want to get in touch with Brian or Michelle at SolarEdge, contact me, josh.brumm, that's 2 M's, at soligent.net. Go ahead and click the link below. We have stock available today. We talked about NEM3, NEM2, the deadline coming April 13th in California, what energy storage means, MPU, avoidance on storage, EV charging projects, AC coupled versus DC coupled, the advantages and efficiencies of the SolarEdge home battery, arbitrage, etc. Battery backup. We had a real live outage with Brian from SolarEdge right in the middle of the broadcast. Could not have faked that. That's so cool. I mean, it's not cool, Brian. It's not cool that you had no power, but it's cool we were able to actually have that happen in real time as we're talking about the benefits of SolarEdge batteries for battery backup purposes. What a great show. Thanks for coming on, guys. Do me a favor. Let our listeners know how they can contact you or learn more. I know you have an online university, all kinds of great online resources. And let our listeners know before we let you go and go to the break.
Sure. Yes, we have Edge Academy, where you can get training on both technical and sales training, certifications that are NABCEP approved for continuous learning credits. We also have Sales Elite Network, where if you are a salesperson, it's really a network for residential sales reps to have best practices, to have discussions and interactive trainings together. So if you just Google SolarEdge Sales Elite, there's a sign-up page there. So we always want to be available to you, whether you are installation or you are on the sales side. So we have those resources available for additional training and are here to support.
Awesome. Michelle Spina, Brian Arons from SolarEdge. Thanks for coming on the program. You will be back. You promise, right? You will be back as guest here.
Sure. Yes, if you want us, we'll be there.
Yes, I do.
Hopefully no power outage.
You'll have a SolarEdge battery the next time. So excited to have you guys on. Thanks for the continuing education. Look forward to having you back on the broadcast for our next episode. And thank you so much for joining us on Beyond Emissions. Hang on the line for engineers, please.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
SolarEdge, available right now from Soligent. Brian's correct. We have warehouses right in California. this mega storm coming through. There's going to be a lot of outages. You don't have to wait for the deadline for NEM2 to end and NEM3 to start. Deadline being April 13th, 5 p.m. Don't procrastinate. If you want to get your customers in under NEM2 and get that retail rate, that does not negate the need for batteries. SolarEdge batteries can provide the ability for arbitrage. That means the ability not just to have battery backup if the grid goes down, but also as well that retail rate even under NEM2 if you can get them in under the deadline. Time is of the essence, by the way, to do that. Get in touch with us. Click the link below for Soligent solutions from SolarEdge and Soligent. We have them available in stock. But that battery isn't just battery backup. Arbitrage, what that means is that retail rate that you are getting if you can get in and under NEM2, that retail rate that you get back in credit is still less of a value than what you're being charged per kilowatt hour at night when the sun is not shining. Hence, you still lose money by the way the utility has set that up, unless you have storage like the SolarEdge battery solution available from Soligent and SolarEdge, all their other excellent technologies, EV charging, their efficiency with their inverters and their entire system, avoiding MPU main panel upgrade, extra costs that just, you can avoid all of that. Find out more. Click on the link below. Thanks for joining us today at the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. We're the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas. Stay tuned for more great episodes right here at the Soligent YouTube channel.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with Give Power. Well, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about Give Power if it wasn't for our partners, LoanPal. They've been with Give Power since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by LoanPal's dedication to the cause. Something LoanPal said really strikes a chord regarding Give Power, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound LoanPal's contribution by donating to Give Power on every order paid via our direct pay program through LoanPal. That's right. Every time your company uses your LoanPal portal to pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot more.
Soligent's purpose meets Give Power's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more.